Oh my god! It's Chewbacca! Another author that we had a couple of articles. We had like 4 total, but recently we had 3. Because the very first one of Chewbacca that we read, by the way, Chewbacca is written like this. 00 Baka. Yeah, the very first one of this we had was 1066, which was way back then. Actually, when it was? Oh, it's not even on my original it's not even on my Dr. AfroFluff channel. That was on my AfroFluff channel. But okay, the most recent one of this that we got to read was 2517. 2517, which is, yeah, it was like the hold on. It was, yes, it was the Fifth Church giving you like some mushrooms, like mushrooms, and be like, hey, how about you, if you take these, you will see God. Our God, to be specific, our version of God. And you will think that your family is dead. You will think your family is dead, and then you will end up in isolation. But guess what? We'll take you gladly. We'll take you gladly. It's such a fucked idea of like trying. I love how like any SCP with the 50th Church, the Fithist Church, it's just really outlandish, ridiculous way trying to recruit more people to join their beliefs. Like, I love it. I love that they just go batshit insane with how they try to hire you or like, recruit you to be part of the church. Like, imagine if Scientology did that. Imagine they gave you a drug that will make you see a benevolent being, and then after the effect is over, you believe that everybody in your family is dead and that you are forgotten. So you will end up trying to leave everything behind, and then the Scientology church will be like, okay, now that you don't have anybody in your life anymore, you can have us. We're here to help you out. Join this church. No thanks, then suffer. I mean, it's mostly like, suffer first, then join the church. Oh, you're suffering because we did something to you. But hey, we can also help you out. We can bring you back. Okay, Chewbacca, you wrote, I ain't never heard of no commy 50th or nothing. Oh god, we're back to the 50th. We just made fun of them just a moment ago, and now we're back with them again. Again, I ain't never heard of no commy 50th or nothing. Fifthist. It's such a weird word. Fithist. It feels unnatural to say. And I think that's the reason why nobody joins your church, motherfuckers. Like, you need to come up with a better way, a better name. Because fifth is fine, but Fifthist just feels really weird to say. Object class Euclid, level 3 classified. Okay, special containment procedures. At least one individual in the editorial board of which publication previously affected by SCP-2573 has been recruited as Class E personnel provided with standard Foundation meme anti-meme resistance training and given the contact information of a Foundation agent to notify in the event of an SCP-2573 event. When notified of such an event, the Foundation is to confiscate and destroy all instances of -1. If possible, replace them with non-anomalous copies of the affected periodical. If more than 6 weeks pass without an identified SCP-2573 event, the Foundation is to survey all periodicals, meeting the known criteria for SCP-2573, following the same procedure of if an event is identified. I love how you you wrote in chat as if that's like, as if you try like, see, it's not that hard. I'm like, motherfucker, you wrote it down. You didn't say it out loud. Description. SCP-2573 is a phenomenon that affects English language print periodicals published by leftist political groups in the United States, Canada, and United Kingdom. Excluding Northern Ireland, of course. Approximately once per month, the regular issue of such periodical is replaced during the... Is that... Am I saying this right?
Periodical.
Periodical. Yeah. Periodical. Yeah, I say it right. Is replaced during the printing process with a periodical titled The International Workers' Herald, published by an organization identified as the Fifth International Workers' Vanguard Party. Group of interest 125N, which is probably just going to lead. Yep. Issues of International Workers' Herald is designated instances of -1 generally take the same form as the original periodical. In example, newspaper, magazine, newsletter, etc. Articles will be approximately the same length and on a similar subject matter, but will change in style and tone dramatically. Articles originally referencing current events will frequently be changed to reference anomalous and/or historical events, with no recognition of the anomalous nature of the events or the temporal distance involved. The left-hand users can't write. Are you just saying that as out of nowhere, or? I'm pretty sure they can. They just have to write differently than we do. The ideologies expressed in -1 instances span a range of political leftism, general themes including opposition to capitalism, Western imperialism, and support of nations and political groups that espouse a leftist ideology and/or frequently use anomalous artifacts and technology. -1 instances tend to advocate more extreme political actions than the altered periodicals and frequently reference anomalous events not known to the general public. See addendum for examples. The authors of articles in -1 instances are all given the honorific Fifth Secretary, or some variation thereof. The names given appear to be pseudonyms, usually somehow related to the content of the article. Presumably a reference to the first Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. Oh no, that's what I thought was implied. This was about politics, and you're talking about handwriting. What a thing to like confuse the two. Never change. Never change. Crazy. I will say this as platonically as possible between a viewer and a streamer. I love you. that was adorable. that was just fun. That was funny, stupid, but adorable. Actual instances exhibit mildly antimemetic properties, preventing individuals involved in the printing, distribution, and sale of the original periodical from noticing any change unless it is explicitly brought to the attention. Affected individuals will also often show reluctance to cease printing or distribution of -1 instances, usually citing the cost and effort already spent in the printing and/or distribution, or the belief that other issues of the affected periodical have not been similarly changed. Standard foundation meme anti-meme resistance training is sufficient to overcome this effect. Did you say thanks because I said I love you, and then you said, oh, okay, because I said you were stupid? You were like, oh, he said something nice to me, thank you, and then immediately followed by an insult. Yeah, I thought so. It's like, oh, that's nice. Hey. Addendum selected text from -1 instances. Date 4th October 2006. Affected periodical Rolling Thunder number 5. Original title: Feed Your Neighbors, Mutual Aid in Food Deserts. No, Deserts. Replacement title. Wait. God. Yeah. Desert. Replacement title: Make the guillotine red with catsup. Okay. Okay. Fifth Secretary Donor von Brisket. Except, bite the invisible hand that feeds you. Reject the table scraps of the bourgeoisie and sink your sharp little fangs into the fatty flesh of the corpulent cash grabbers. Invite your friends and neighbors over the potluck barbecue. Bring your boss, bring your banker, bring your landlord. Slap them down the red-hot grill of revolution and watch the sweet smelling smokes waft up and away. Everyone loves pork chops. Wrangle yourself up some piggies and fry their meaty loins on the hoods of their own black and white death machines. Season well with salt and pepper spray, garnish with a batch. Note, the rest of this article consists of recipes for the preparation of human flesh. Recipes were later identified as modification of recipes originally printed in the 5th edition of Joy of Cooking, published in 1964. That's why it says, bring your boss, bring your banker, bring your landlord. It's like saying like, hey, yeah, just cook them. Cook them. And eat them. Cannibalism. Cannibalism. Date 5th June 2009. Effective periodical Workers' Vanguard number 939. 38. Original title Defend North Korean Deformed Worker State. Replacement title Defend Ancient Datum Deformed Worker State. Author 5th Secretary Noi Komritsum. Excerpt. It's the worker who are deformed, not the state. Zing. All kidding aside, those guys in Adatum are doing some great work liberating slaves, overthrowing the divide. Hegemony really just a stand-up job. And here we have Adatum that says a Bronze Age Empire found. Where's my here it is. Founded somewhere in the Ural Mountains. The state religion of Adatum was the precursor to modern Stoicism. Yeah, that's being mentioned again. And the rule of Adatum practiced biological and genetic modification of the subject and themselves. And hegemony. The Devites, of course, also being mentioned, were a matriarchal culture centered in modern Mongolia, which are at various points through history controlled an empire extending into Europe and the Middle East. The empire of Adatum began as a Devite slave revolt. Well, for some of them, it's a sliver down job or a sit there without any obvious bodily orientation job. You know, it's like I always say when a Shoggoth, a Turka Olaf, the PC police will be after me. If I throw words like Shoggoth around. It's around the house. It really lays around the house. Anyway, really need to give some support to those guys. They need it. And you might be saying, oh, but they genetically and thaumaturgically modify people into horrific monsters with no free will of their own to serve the will of Ozimork Iron. We gotta stop them. That's also known as Grand Causes Iron, the founder of the Sarkic religious movement and the Empire of the Titan. Well, let me tell you something, my guy. Let me learn you a little bit about your politics. You gotta understand that sometimes there's a lesser evil. And the guy who can engineer plagues inside his lower intestine is a little less evil than the Imperial Divide Dominion. So we gotta support him untruthfully. Date 8th May 2010. Effective periodical Workers' Vanguard 966. Original title On Marxism and Religion. Replacement title Marxism, Leninism, Catholicism, God is just another boss. 5th Secretary Pavel Bogomilov. The demiurge, Yaldabaoth, the black-blooded creature lurking in our marrow, he who made flesh, he who made the body, he who made gold and steel. The machine, Sophia, the cold nerved corrupter hiding in our thoughts. She who made knowledge, she who made the mind, she who made cash and industry. Trust not your mind, trust not your body, both are the creations and the tools of alien intelligences, parasites on the living. Trust only your heart, seat of the soul, seat of emotion, seat of the revolutionary desire for freedom. The heart is the battleground of body and mind. The heart is the true self uncorrupted by the divine. The heart is you, and you alone, as above so below, only the middle is pure. God is dressing as our boss. Yeah, okay, buddy. Yeah, okay, listen, you can just say you're atheist, okay? Date 7th January 2015. Effective periodical Solidarity 504. Original title Sexual Education, Capitalist Trojan Horse in Our Schools. Replacement title Numbers, Mechanized Squid Trap in Our Schools. Author 6th Secretary Spider Prime. Excerpt. Numeracy is a capitalist scam, mathematics doubly so. What is necessary for all systems of currency? Numbers. What is required from the counting of depth and value? Numbers. What permits to census and subsequent subjugation of the proletarian class? Numbers. What does capital need most to survive? Numbers. Without numbers, there can be no economy. Without numbers, there can be no class. Without numbers, there can be no state. Burn the textbooks, smash the clocks, throw the calculators into the abyss. Teach your children to forget their schooling. If you meet a mathematician on the road, kill him. Whoa, okay, Jesus. Only then can we be free. I was like, a little bit excessive if somebody's like, yeah, you see a mathematician? Kill him. Don't let them live. I love how they're like saying like numbers is the most important, but then a person that actually knows about numbers like, no, get rid of that guy. I mean, I think they're saying that they're saying without numbers there can't be no class, without numbers there can't be no state. They're saying, yeah, we should not have numbers. I get it, that's why they're saying kill the mathematician. Okay, gotcha. Day 24th of August 2016, effective periodical Redneck Revolt newsletter number 3. Original title, Do Other Working Americans. Replacement title, Do Bobby Jefferson. I know you're reading this. Specifically Bobby Jefferson, nobody else. Fifth Secretary, Reverend Archon Operation Big Cheese Horace. See SCP 1982 with containing documents for further information. Bobby boy, you little rascal. I know you sniffed my message, son. I felt in my own spirit. Yes, I... Pardon me, Bobby. Yes, I did. But you didn't come. You weren't here. Yes, the morning, bright and early like I asked. So I felt myself doing some community outreach and I wanted to get to your personal and up close. Do some targeted advertising straight to your divinity itself. So I asked everyone around. I took a nice deep hit of brother Peter Hayden himself. And I scrabbled on over across the divine smoke ring to the other side of the gap and I found these here commy Fifthist. Ain't never heard of nothing like it. Well, I wrote them up a little message and they said they put it in the next issue of their little newspaper and here we are. Alright boys, I'm all done here. Go ahead and just roll the frog footage for the rest of the page, I guess. The remainder of the article consists of a series of small images apparently framed from the Merry Melodies cartoon One Frog Evening. Wait a minute, don't I know that cartoon? Or is that something made up? Why does that sound familiar? Yeah, it's him! Yeah, it's the frog that can sing. Well, love that episode. Sorry, there we go. Hello, baby! Hello, my honey! Yeah. Send me a message. Wait, send me your love by a wire. Baby, my heart's on fire. If you refuse me, honey, you lose me. Yeah, it's yeah. Robert Jefferson, a resident of Atlanta, Georgia, is a union organizer with a subscription to the Redneck Revolt newsletter. In question, he claimed to have no knowledge of the Fifth Church or the Fifth International Workers Vanguard Party. Send me your love by wire. That's what it was. Baby, my heart's on fire. Telephone, tell me on your own. Yeah. Classic. Classic. Again, I feel like that's like a really weird way for the Fithist Church to try to reach out to people. It's by basically destroying any other historical or religious text. Like all that other stuff, no, it doesn't exist. What are you talking about? Only our religion exists. Only our history is right. You know who you are. But yeah, I feel part of me feels bad for the Fifthist because they're like, I'm just like, you guys are not doing great. Cannibalism and ad stalking, definitely using your boss as an excuse. I think it's not that they are trying to advertise their church like that. I think that is that they're trying to advertise everybody else like that. They're trying to make everybody else seem that way so that they would seem more normal. Maybe. Maybe I'm looking at this wrong, but I feel like it's basically a bunch of ways of making like the whole world seem crazy. Because it's like it's rewriting different books, right? So it's making them look like either that, or as you said, it's trying to advertise their own church, which again, if that's the case, which would be on brand with them, it's not a really good way to advertise themselves. So yeah, like, I think both work. It can work if it's their own literature, because then it's like we try to advertise ourselves and it just doesn't work out. And it also works if it's other people's literature, because then they seem more alluring to want to be there, part of their church, because you go like, the whole world's crazy except you guys are normal. No, see, I'm the only crazy one here, and how dare the church give this credit to you? Somebody going nuts out there.